All right, so the poet that I chose for my poem was Adolphe Duhart. That's how you pronounce his last name. Um, he was born on February 1st, 1830, uh, to Adolphe Louis Duhart and Francois Palmier Brewer, uh, with some of the names you might still hear now. He was born in New Orleans, uh, but he was educated in France, so he did get his education and schooling out of the country. Um, he was a poet, obviously, and a dramatist who taught at l'Institution Catholique. Um, Spoke about it in the video. Uh, as a member of Henry Louis Ray's seance circle named Cercle Harmonique, he became a medium. Um, he was an educator, along with a spiritualist, poet, and he was also a soldier too. Um, so he was a lot of things. So he had some stuff to talk about for sure. He wrote emotionally and politically charged poetry under the name Lila D. Dot 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 T. In some of New Orleans' most famous French literate newspapers. He wrote in La Renaissance Louisianaise and La Tribune de la Nouvelle Orleans. That's a lot of French words. Um, in the actual poem that he wrote, read it, it's kind of long. It's called A Memory by Layla DT. Um, as soft as a gentle light illuminating the skies, as soft as a prayer in flight on a radiant angel's sighs, like a memory we cherish, as fleeting as the dawn. It was my heart's only wish, but this gentle glance is gone. As soft as the sudden surprise of naive, consoling confessions, as soft as the fragrant breeze, perfumed by musical expressions. Thus shall I ever recall this sigh too soon withdrawn. My hoping heart did hear its call, but this sigh so sweet is gone. As soft as a feverish dream, a dream of love and bliss, as soft as a reprieve can seem amidst pain's ugliness. Thus shall I ever recall these tears too soon withdrawn. My hoping heart did hear their call, but these tender tears are gone. And that was published Sunday, 24th June, 1866. I'll speak about that later. But I mean, as you can tell, he was describing a memory, like longing for that memory in its past. Almost like a cherished moment. He described it as fleeting like a soft light, and a sigh and tears that have disappeared. Um, so he's definitely longing for something, and grieving almost, or already grieved, but still grieving more when he speaks in the poem. The tone is definitely, I would say, reflective. Um, he writes as if, something's been lost and, like I said, being sought after. Um, I think two themes being portrayed in the poem are nostalgia and loss. Uh, like I said, grieving or longing, that nostalgia, and as well loss. uh, the memory of the past is what he was longing for. And then a sense of loss, as time passes, I said he grieved, but he's still in the process of grieving. Um, he uses imagery. It's definitely a literary device he uses in that as well. Using phrases such as soft light and tears that are gone. So we're picturing that in our heads when we're reading it, kind of. He also uses metaphors as another literary device, comparing memories to light, size, and tears as well in the poem. So he's using those metaphors as a good literary device to help us understand the poem more. Personification, he uses personification as well. When he says this sigh too soon withdrawn, it gives us, a picture of something being given like a human-like nature when it's not. Uh, side too soon withdrawn. Sides can't be technically withdrawn. You can't go to the ATM and get a side. You might side after, uh, with putting something into the ATM, but that's about it. Uh, During the Romantic movement in 1866, like I said, when that was published, emotions, longing for the past, and individualism as well were emphasized in the era of like personal reflection. You know, they valued personal reflection a lot. Um, Evident in the tone of the poem, Duhart gives us a clear depiction of feelings and concerns of this era as well. Personal reason why I chose this poem is because of like the realness, or I would say the mental image it created in my head was very vivid and descriptive. I could see it's like I was sitting down with him, you know. Um, he used a lot of creative language, like I said, metaphors, personification, all that that helps us readers, you know, whoever's reading it, me, y'all. Um, it definitely helps us feel like we're sitting there with him while he's writing it, you know, feeling what he's feeling. Um, like many other people close to me, uh, I've grieved memories. We've all had to grieve memories. We've had to grieve people. Um, you know, it's hard. You know, he's writing about it, and we still feeling the pain that he felt back then. It's just some, you know, it's tough, and I can definitely relate to it. Uh, it was impactful for me for sure. You know, reading the whole thing, getting an understanding of it, and an understanding of his history and where he came from and growing up, and the memory was actually his brother who had passed away from suicide. He was right. That's what he was writing about. So, you know, with that knowledge now, you know, researching and going back and reading it, it's like you just want to give me like a pat on the back or something. Um, I think this poem gave me aid in my sense of feeling emotions through words and detecting other literary skills and creative writing. Um, you know, getting a real insight on what the author is trying to portray rather than just getting it done with or and reading like line after line, done, 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 done. Really, you know, breaking those words down letter by letter, you know. The depth of the poem as well. That was definitely something that, you know, helped me. Um, through simple words and just metaphor, you know. Um, the things he says definitely are relatable. Um, but I think yeah, that poem by Adolphe Duhart was definitely very impactful on me. I'm glad I read it. You know, and I wasn't even looking forward to taking the class, but you know, it was a good poem. That was my thing.